There's a kind of fatigue that is invisible. It travels under the surface in silence unseen, unsaid and ignored. You've been going through days that seem typical from the outside, but inside you're exhausted and unable to sleep. You've draped your strength over disappointment, sadness, and unresolved grief, wearing it like clothes. People command your tenacity, respect your fortitude, and appreciate your resilience. However, very few, if any, inquire about the expense of carrying everything. Your soul is eroding not because you don't love, but because you're giving too much and never getting it back. You have endured protracted periods of emotional apathy, while feigning indifference to the dryness of your soul. Strength evolved into a performance. At some point you became what you were for survival, being able to function under strain was confused with being complete. If you believe in the power of prayer, type 111 and forward this video to 7 faithful people. However, thriving is not the same as operating. Reliability does not equate to restoration, and every moment that was too heavy to say out loud has been seen by me, your God, in the quiet, in the groans you let out behind closed doors. I was there, when you sobbed in private and smiled for other people. I wasn't not there, I've never gone away. Messages that were never intended for you have been absorbed over time. You thought that your value is determined by your productivity, that your capacity for endurance determines your worth, and that being emotionally accessible to everyone indicates that you are spiritually mature. These falsehoods infiltrated covertly, disguising themselves as the truth, and coming from reliable sources, have strength I don't require anyone. If you stop, everything will collapse. I did not provide these orders. They are silent pledges of survival, made during painful times. However, freedom is not the same as survival. Furthermore, I never asked you to put on shackles. Under the pretext of dedication, you thought that being loved was synonymous with being needed, that you had nothing to contribute. If you weren't doing something beneficial, type 222 if you know God's love is endless. But even when you provide nothing love, true love sees you. You don't have to be strong all the time. My darling, your performance has no bearing on my presence. You don't have to impress me. You must have faith in me. It's not only that you're exhausted from too much work, you're worn out from lugging something that never belonged to you, feelings that weren't your own. I didn't assign those responsibilities. Society, religion, and well-intentioned voices did. Instead of living in accordance with your goal, you have lived in reaction to pressure. It's misalignment, not failure, that has worn you out. Your once loved spiritual activities turn, become duties, Instead of praying for closeness, you started praying out of desperation. You didn't worship to connect. You worshiped to live the distance increased. Even if you didn't want to wander, I've never relocated. I've been at your side throughout the turmoil, the burnout and the quiet times, when you wondered whether any of it mattered. What I want you to know is that your pain is not an indication that you have failed. It's an indication your soul is pleading for a realignment. If you are ready for miracles, type 333 and share this video to spread the word of God. Nothing has been squandered. Not the wrestling nights, not the invisible hours of work. When you wanted to flee, you made the option to remain. I saw every cry, every stride, and every silent gesture of loyalty. And they are precious to me. The world uses movement to gauge development. However, I gauge it by giving up. And I have been working in your silence, in your concealment. In the darkness, deep roots grow under the surface. Solid foundations are created. We haven't overlooked you. You were ready. There was no disqualification for using the deviations. Recalibrations were what they were. You're not in the rear, you're evolving. I included rest into my creation. My son served as my model. Why therefore? Do you think that rest is a sign of laziness? Why do you feel guilty about taking a break? It is not a badge of pride to be burned out. Rest is a rhythm I created for your happiness and survival, not a prize for achievement. You don't need to exhaust yourself to the point of exhaustion in order to demonstrate your value. You're not a robot, a product is not you. You are my darling kid. Beloveds also receive rather than earn. Type for 144 if you trust God's guidance in your life. I'm not expecting you to be flawless. You are being called to presence. I'm welcoming you into communion, not keeping track of your fidelity. I value your attention more than what you produce. Your schedule is not as valuable as your heart. It begins modestly. Saying no when you would have answered yes is a relief. Where there had been terror, there was now a period of calm. An unexpected glimmer of optimism. These aren't random occurrences. They are indicators. Sacred proof that I'm already working. You don't wait for me to start. I started already. You're not requesting anything that I haven't given you. What I've been pouring all along is becoming easier for you to accept. My fingerprints are the silent change, the little alteration in your breathing, and the developing realization that you don't have to live your life the way you did. You're not failing, you are waking up. It's okay for you to let go of the guilt you don't have, of the unsustainable speed, of the personas that have concealed who you really are. Being everything to everyone is not necessary. You don't have to bear all the weight by yourself. My children walk boldly in faith and love. With your super thanksgiving, let the truth of my word reach those who long for the light. Join me in this divine mission to heal and uplift. Click on the Super Thanksgiving button and be enveloped in my grace now. And listen to this message further. The sustainer is me, the healer is me. The guide is me furthermore. I never asked you to be the unifying factor. That's what I do type Amen. If you are ready to receive God's blessings today, you've devoted a lot of time to attempting to be strong and sufficient. However, effort is not your strength. Your surrender contains it. I'm asking you to let go of the weight now, the roles, the anticipations, the vows of survival. What occurred to you is not who you are. The version of yourself that learned to deal with quiet is not you. The burnout is not you. The breakdown is not you. The performance is not you. You are not what other people have called you. I own you. My image is on you. You are my breath and nothing. Not obscurity, not weariness, nor failure can diminish your value. I'm bringing you back not to be of use, to completeness. You are only burdened. Even if you have considered yourself broken, and it is possible to lighten burdens. Exhaustion is an indication of how much you care, how long you've lasted, and how far you've come. Yet you mistake it for weakness. I respect that, however. I'm also urging you to uncover what was hidden behind all the burden. Your voice, your heart, and your own self. The end of striving is here, not the end of loyalty or purpose, but the end of the idea that you have to work for your position, the conclusion that belonging and usefulness are synonymous. If you love Jesus, type 555 and share this video with 7 others who believe. Love doesn't need you to put yourself through your paces. Peace doesn't have to be given up for acceptance. To be noticed, you don't need to vanish. They've already seen you, they already know you. You already have love. Additionally, I won't allow any of your travel be squandered. Not a single scar, not even a tear. Not a single detour. The rebuilding process now starts. Not how you had hoped, though. This is a plea to go back to what has always been true. Not to start again from the beginning. You are my darling, you are sufficient. You're at home. Let this be the start of walking in presence rather than performance, in grace not in weariness, in faith not in dread. You're receiving more than simply healing. They're recalibrating you, refocused, realigned. You've been walking long enough to feel like you were barely making it. However, I now state that you were always being led, always changing, being held at all times. Now is your time. You have this shift. Your restoration is this type 66. If you believe God is working in your life right now, And with each stride you move ahead, I'm right here, welcome back to your own self. Greetings from me again.